We're right here along the river, and Robin, we're actually going to go out with some of the kayakers in just a few minutes. Robin?
All right, it is great here in Harpers Ferry, isn't it, Sam? This is great here in West Virginia. You know, folks have been traveling on the train since the early 1800s, and shortly thereafter, Pullman porters became memorable, not just in person, but also in railway lore. African-American men who, well, they were called hospitality ambassadors, but we found out they were so much more.
Every day of the year, every night of every day, millions of people planning, packing, arriving, departing on modern streamlined trains.
In the booming era of railroads, African-American men, many of them recently freed slaves, were recruited for jobs as attendants on the Pullman sleeping cars. While the luxury set enjoyed glamorous cross-country travel, the Pullman porters were fixtures on the trains, carrying bags, serving in the dining car, attending to any passenger's needs. Trains no longer have Pullman porters, and there are a few of the original porters still around to tell their story.
I'm a Pullman porter, and I lived it.
Linus Scott, 97 years young, was a Pullman porter from 1941 to 1979, here with his daughter Carol. You look good. You look good. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yes.
28.
28? I thought so. I thought that was it. That's the
No, 87.
87.
I mean 97, I twisted around so much, forget myself.
But who's counting?
But anyway, I'm 97.
Who's counting? And proud of it. For $68 a month plus tips, he made beds, waited on the passengers, and always offered a smile. What was the relationship like between yourself and the passengers on the train?
Well, I tell you, I run into some snobs out there, but mostly when I put that smile on them, boy, they respond. So we got along okay.
They withstood the verbal abuse, sometimes physical abuse.
Dr. Lynn Hughes founded the Pullman Porter Museum in Chicago 12 years ago. So moved by their story that she decided to devote her entire life to preserving their legacy. What is the most important thing about their story that people should know?
They made a difference in what they did by living an example. And so having pride in oneself and a commitment to family, and they stressed education, and the seeds that they planted in their families and their descendants have gone on for generations.
Thurgood Marshall was a Pullman porter. Malcolm X was a Pullman porter.
It was considered what they call a clean job. You know, they didn't get dirty. But the fact of the matter is they worked 20 hours. 20 hours and slept 4.
The Pullman porters created the first black labor union in America, formally recognized in 1937. And through it, they changed the course of history, securing better wages, shorter hours. In 1941, they organized the first march on Washington to protest racial discrimination in government hiring. The march was canceled when President Roosevelt signed an order conceding to their demands. Over 20 years later, they helped organize another march on Washington.
They really didn't understand the significance of what they were doing and the contribution that they were making by being a part of America's first black labor union and by being forerunners of the civil rights movement and being the foot soldiers on the ground to open those doors for Dr. Martin Luther King.
Their influence extended to their families as well. Mr. Scott's daughter, Carol, remembers him coming home from the road, dancing with her, and teaching her invaluable life lessons. You know right from wrong?
You know right from wrong.
How did that shape you into the adult that you became?
It shaped my life. They stood up for the black family. They walked proud. And I think that made a great impact.
Did you have that sense that you were going to go to college?
Yes. I knew that it was important for them that I went. And I just never did think that I wouldn't go.
Despite his low wages, the Scotts put all 4 of their children through college, one of their daughters all the way through medical school. Mr. Scott visited the Pullman Porter Museum with his family, his wife of 64 years, Marjorie, and his 2 daughters, Carol and Karen. They walked through the history that he himself had been a part of. and then he gave a piece of it back.
Lantern. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Here, this toast. This talk for the crew. They tell you when to leave, when to go, when to stop.
You know the feeling that you have when somebody's going away and you're going to miss them? You feel so sad, you know, and you just want to hug them. I could just see him. I could just envision him when he was working as a Pullman porter with that spirit, dealing with whatever he had to deal with. And such respect and admiration.
What was it like when you finally took the uniform off for the last time and said, that's it?
Glad. Just, well, and no, I didn't have to go to work anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do. It grows into you. And I was kind of proud of that Pullman uniform, too. It did a lot for me, and I did a lot for them.
And how true, how true. This is Mr. Scott's lantern right here. And what a beacon the Pullman porters were. And I will get this back to the Pullman Porters Museum. And if you're in Chicago and can go by there and learn so much about their rich history. And Lynn Hughes, who you saw, who is the founder of the museum, has a wonderful book and a registry of the Pullman Porters. Dr. Lynn Hughes.
And what they stood for, too. $68 a week. And he put how many kids?
4 kids, including 1 through medical school. There you have it.
I love those lives. By the way, we're in front of what used to be the firehouse. This is where John Brown and his abolitionists holed up as long as they could before, of course, they were taken away. And we'll be back.
And ask everybody that ain't asleep to stand right up and